Welcome back to Realize Displays training. In this video, we're going to go through the last installment of how to create and publish amazing content to your displays, and that is the final section of your dashboard, which is channels. Now, before we get into channels, let's do a quick overview of how your digital sign system actually works. All of your displays have a player box connected to them. Now, that player box is what actually receives the channel from your online account, from this dashboard. So each display, each player can only be set with one channel at a time. So if you have multiple displays, however, all of those players can show the same channel, in which case many TVs can be updated all at once if they're all showing the same channel. However, if you have multiple TVs, you can also set different channels for each one, which would allow you to send different content to each one. So consult with your Realize project assistants if you have questions about those, or your admin if you have an enterprise account, because they can tell you where all of your player devices are and which channel goes to where. Now, the great thing about channels is that when you have your channel, they will be linked to your displays. So let's say you have a department or you're in a university. The channel that you have in your account will be linked to any number of displays. And a channel can show multiple playlists, or just one if you prefer that as well. Now, when you click on a channel, you have a variety of different options. And you click edit, then you will open it up and you will be able to see which playlists are currently showing and when they're scheduled. Now, what we're going to do is do a quick overview of what you can do here. So in the most basic sense, all you're going to need to do is drag a playlist down into either right on the TV itself for the channel to play it, or right into the actual playlist list. When you drop it in, it's going to immediately give you a continuous playback that has no end date. Now, what you'd like to do is, if you want to, just verify that the start date is at the current date so that you can start playing this immediately, and then click the check mark and you'll notice your playlist turns green. Now, when your playlist is green, that means that it's eligible and is currently scheduled to be shown. If you have a black playlist, that means it will be set to play at a future date. If you watched our previous video about scheduling within your playlist for your pages, you'll remember this page where your playlists inside of a channel also follow the same color coding. Where a green playlist is eligible and will play, is currently set to play. An orange playlist means that a scheduled playlist is set for a valid date range. However, the time that it's supposed to show, or the regular day that it might recur on, is not currently eligible. So it shows orange, meaning that it might play at a different time. A black playlist means that the playlist will not play at all until a future date, which means it currently isn't eligible to be shown. Now, we're going to go through a couple differences with the scheduling of a channel, because one of them is very important to note, and I suggest you watch this video a couple times if it takes a little bit just to let it sink in how this scheduling is different. First off, if you want to remove something from your playlist, either hit that trash can on the right, or just go ahead and just drag it right off. Now, when I added a playlist, let's go ahead and maybe drop in a couple of our menu slides. Inside of our menu. Let's put them in the menu because I don't think there was anything in there before. And now let's drop our menu into the channel. Now you'll notice that there is a different drop down for continuously, where I can choose to play this incidentally. So if I wanted to play this continually and have this playlist, the entire playlist and everything in it, only show and expire at a certain time, I can certainly do that. And then these two playlists will rotate between each other until one of them essentially expires, and then this one will continue to play. Now, when I click this pencil, I can edit those options, and if I like, I can select incidentally. Now, incidentally is the actual scheduling and recurrence of a certain playlist. Now, here's the really important part. An incidental playlist is always going to take precedence and will essentially disable continuous playlists when it is scheduled to play. Now, that may sound counterintuitive for some reasons, but actually it is very smart and will allow you to do more than you might have thought before. So let's get into it. So obviously, if you've seen the scheduling of your pages, this works exactly the same way. You can set a start and an end time. You can set recurrence and set the times of the day that you would like your playlist specifically to play. Now, if we were going to go ahead and schedule this for also sometime around Tuesday, or setting it so it will at least play today, all we would need to do is set our time to maybe 12 a.m. to 11:59 p.m., which would then set this playlist to play from Monday until Saturday the 21st, all day, Monday through Friday. Now watch what happens when I click the check mark to click OK. You'll notice that now my incidental playlist is green, but our main playlist has now turned black. If you remember, black scheduling means that the playlist will not play until a future date. So this is what this means when you have an incidental playlist inside of a channel. It will take full precedence, and when I play this channel, it will only show the incidental playlist looping on itself over and over again, only showing itself until the 21st when it expires. And once it expires, it goes back to the continuous playlists. Now, the reason this is important is because many times and often you will have maybe a weekend, let's say, video that you would like to play that will only play across the weekend and then go back to your regular scheduled playlist. This is the most important and awesome tool and why the scheduling is set the way that it is. Let's pretend that this menu is a video that only shows on the weekend. If we had these two in a different configuration where maybe the scheduling would always alternate between these two playlists whenever they're active, you would literally have to schedule the main playlist to start and end before the weekend, then set your video for the weekend to start right when this is done, play through the weekend, and expire after the weekend, and then set yet another playlist that will start and end at a not yet set duration. Now that's a lot of scheduling headaches, when all you would really need to do to make this happen, if you just want to show a weekend content, is to create an incidental playlist, drop in your video, and set it to play only on the weekend. Now, when it's set like this, you'll notice that our incidental playlist is now red because it has a date range that is accepted because we are well within the date range. And it's not actually going to play yet because the days or the times are not eligible to be playing. So this will play with a simple schedule like this, the main playlist, all the way until Saturday at 12 a.m. when it switches to the main menu and only plays until Sunday at 11:59, and it already knows to go back to the main playlist and continue itself playing, saving you the time of all those extra schedules and remembering which one is going to play when. Now, my best advice for you on this is, if this is a little confusing, I would highly suggest simply only sticking to continuous playlists or only sticking to incidental playlists. Because if I set the main menu, which is a different playlist, to be incidental, and then I also set the main playlist to also be incidental, this will actually allow, looks like we have a future date set here. This will actually allow each of the playlists when they are the same type to alternate on each other. So 2 incidental playlists will continue to alternate one after the other whenever they are active, as well as when they are continuous. If they are the same type, they will also continue to alternate with their same type. So my suggestion again is either to stick to the same type, or you know what, even just go ahead and just leave everything as continuous and do all of your scheduling right within your playlist, because 99% of the time scheduling your pages individually and to recur will be completely fine for almost everybody's needs. But if you do have questions on this, obviously reach out to your Realize project assistant. Now let's take a couple of quick looks at what else can be done inside of the channel itself. When I click on a channel, it's going to allow me to edit it, which will obviously open up the playlist list so I can see what is currently playing. I can rename it. Let's say this is our main channel. And then I can also restart, which means any displays that are attached to this channel will get a kick. And that kick will start the playlist and the entire channel over on all the displays. This can sometimes be helpful if you have new content that you don't want to wait until the end to see or something, or you just want to go ahead and just give them all a kick so that they update a little faster. Go ahead and press that restart button. Now the report button and then one other setting in here are only for enterprise level Realize clients. A report button will actually, when you click on it, show you the page ID and the playback time as a report, proof of playback of what has played on your channel. Now this can be helpful if you do have multiple layers of content, or you have certain advisors or someone who would like to verify that certain maybe ads have played on their channel. Now let's click into it again. We can delete the channel, which I would obviously not recommend because most of the time these channels will have been set and linked to certain player devices. So when you delete a channel, it will send every player device a blank message. And then you also have a gear. So the gear, when you open it up, will give you some different properties. Let's say you have a portrait mode display. This is how you can actually turn the entire channel clockwise or counterclockwise to make the picture going landscape or portrait. Now there's something else funny here, which is great for April Fool's Day, but actually has kind of a very neat application. You might see a mirror screen checkbox. Now what that does, if I went and played our channel using our preview, if I hover my mouse over the link, this is the playback address, and I click it, this will play every playlist and everything inside the channel. Now look what happens with the mirror screen. Everything is completely backwards. Now, not only this is a fun April Fool's Day, but that's actually not why it was created. It was a very interesting purpose behind it, and that is if you happen to have a projector that projects through glass, you need to show your channel backwards so people on the other side of the glass can see the forward-facing picture. So you will most likely never need to click that unless you have special projectors that project through glass. Now the last item is a channel mix-in. Now this is also only an enterprise level functionality. But what is interesting about this is if we are in our main dashboard, which at this time we currently are, there is only one main dashboard per customer. That means that main dashboard, usually by is managed by an admin, can send their channel to every other channel in the dashboards every X number of seconds. So let's just say that every 300 seconds, every 5 minutes, I would like to set my main channel to be projected and interrupt all of my other dashboards channels. Again, this is only an enterprise level functionality because you need an enterprise account to have multiple dashboards. And you'll notice once I click this, I have this icon, which signifies that there is a channel mix-in every 5 minutes. Now, the interesting thing is when I go to one of my other departments, now down on the channels for each of these departments, I will see this message. Every 5 minutes, the channel from here will be mixed in, and it will give the total duration. So I could, if I like, preview that channel by clicking this. If I live in this Department 2 account, I could preview what's coming down the pipeline every 5 minutes. Now, lastly, and most importantly, we're going to remove these mix-in information here. When I have a playlist inside of a channel, which I do, I have this main playlist, which is currently playing. Anytime I add something to this playlist, it will automatically update the channel. So whenever I drag playlists down to the channel, if I'm ever really only using this main playlist, I may never need to drag another playlist into the channel. All I need to do is worry about dropping slides into that playlist. And since this playlist is already active, that is your publishing process. There really is no publishing process. The great thing is anytime you update the playlist that is currently live, your displays will immediately sense that update and they will retrieve the new slides and information within a minute or two. So anytime you set this up, this might already be set up for you. Just remember that whatever playlist is currently playing, you can open it by clicking the edit button on your channel. All you need to do is drop playlists into that, or drop pages into that playlist, and then they will automatically show on your display and you are good to go. So that concludes this video for how to finally update your channel with your playlists, schedule them, and show all of your amazing content on your displays. Good luck to you, and tune in for more admin messages on how to maximize your user privileges as well. Have a great day.